moving to oneness. Nourishing curiosity. Embracing differences. Becoming one.
Today is spring starting, and you can see it. I put my flower blouse on, especially for this recording to celebrate this. And I'm going to look really forward to what arises, that the timing and moving the times a few times, right? And play with time. Oh, it's going to be playing with time, that Holly and I came together. So let's see what arises. Hello, everyone. I'm Meilin, and I welcome you to the Moving to Oneness show. And today is the special guest here, so I call it the guided guest show, where my guest, who's sitting today in Wisconsin, really the place where my ancestors from my father's side come from. And then, you know, if you go 150 years back, they did come also from Germany, which is now Poland. So really interesting link that is here today. And Holly has the opportunity to ask me anything she desires, whatever is in the moment. Holly, you can do that for yourself or for others, or even for your animals, because I see you have your cat behind. And let me know what arises for you in this moment. Even though we spoke a few minutes before to prep you, to familiarize you with me, share with me and the listener, because I think what you're bringing is going to impact many others who are going to listen to this show.
Sure. So I am new to becoming spiritual myself, and I have recently developed quite a few gifts, I guess. And I'm trying to develop, it's not fast enough for me. We were laughing about that earlier, because I would like it quicker, of course, like I think most people. I have some very good, very extremely strong intuition. And I can tell things and feel them in my stomach all the time. If somebody's lying to me, I can tell instantly, and I can feel it. I can feel different energies. I've been meditating a lot. I would like to open my meditations up a little bit more as well. But I met Meilin through the goddess group that we're both in, and she actually did one of these without like me or anybody with her. She just kind of did her own light language, which I would like to learn. So it was basically a whole 2-day seminar type thing about light language, and it was really beautiful. And all of these different people came and told about their light language and spoke it to all of us, and it was fantastic because I could feel it from every single one of them in the meditations that we were doing, and it was awesome, amazing. And I just felt so fantastic afterwards, and I thought, oh, I want to learn how to do that. So I would like to grow that way. I own my own business right now, and it's a landscaping company. The spring is perfect for us to be talking anyway, right?
Yeah.
We can talk about whatever. And I'm trying to grow my business, expand my business in a couple different ways. And maybe you can push me and tell me some insightful things, that, because it's also very hard sometimes to hear about yourself and find your own, or hear your own messages. So that's part of my, oh, and I have green fingernails from St. Patty's Day still.
Ooh.
It needs to come off. It's starting to chip finally, but I have green toes too. I match.
Yeah, everyone who is not from the US, let me share with you St. Patrick's Day is a celebration that the Irish brought to the US to celebrate their heritage, to bring luck into their life, and so much more. But it is a fun day in the US. It's a day to also party and wear green, and we celebrate it really in offices. At night you go out for lunch. It is mm,
You eat
it,
corned beef and cabbage.
yeah, corned beef and cabbage. I was just thinking from the time when I was still in Atlanta. I remember then if I would go to Savannah and we would some studies about the landscape or city design, right? A lot of Irish also moved in the early what's the word? Settlers came also from Ireland, and then later there was a big phase again when I think the potato famine hit, and a lot of people went to the US again. And you can find a lot of names. And one time I was even in Savannah by chance because we had an excursion to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So, and it is a fun day to celebrate. And what I love about it, and it fits perfectly into moving to this podcast, if you think about it, Harley, it is the idea to celebrate it all together and even to highlight one's own heritage and to educate at the same time and to play, and a discussion starts then and we learn more about each other, right? Would you say that
Right.
as well,
Oh,
Holly?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And this is really interesting. This is something that you're really interested. You, in a way, you have a landscaping business. And yes, we have our plants today. And it's spring, which symbolizes for me always growth. And what is really interesting, you want really speediest growth, if there is even the word speediest.
Right.
But really, you want to be like Speedy Gonzalez, move forward and fast. And I had to chuckle, and I bet many others too, Harley. And many of us probably also recognize it. You said you're brand new to the spiritual realm, but then you hinted to all the things. First of all, you've learned really quick or become aware of what you already have been doing all your life. So you are what I sense, you've always been spiritual, and sometimes I don't even like to use the word spiritual. That's our natural being, to feel connected, to be in communication with everything that existed. We've been numbed down in our societies, cultures, through history. And now, especially this spring, it is the time in a way to take away the shackles, to really push through, to use a strong energy, like a seed. You will recognize it, right? When a seed opens in the earth, we need a lot of power. We need a lot of concentrated energy, or the seed does, to pop it. Really, it's a combustion. Yeah.
Yep.
Every seed that opens more or less is in combustive energy. So we are in this combusted energy on this planet in the moment, right? And we're being supported from many beings. And then this is also now the desire for many to open up, to live more and more themselves, for you to live more yourself, as it is for me to live myself even more clearly, more precise, more focused, with all other things that have been dangling or that have been covering up or have been squeezing us, that they are dissolved, pushed aside, laid down, and move forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I wrote down, so you want to open up, but you already feel, so it is, I would not use, if you even think for yourself or talk to yourself or write maybe in your journal, it is not an opening up. It's not like you've been closed and like in a bottle and you have to take the cap off.
Okay.
Right? It
Right.
is more just to say, oh, I can do this. What else can I do?
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
feel the difference of energy
Yes.
or intention that is behind it? It's a
Yes.
little softer, right?
Sure.
And it is becomes right away the word vast. If I sense the opening, it is like you have to use strength, and even the person or you yourself or the support team that you have. And there's a lot of restriction and holding and tightening that goes with the act of opening, right? Let's say if
Sure.
you open a bottle, even if you open an envelope or you maybe a book, then it's not so much. So for you, hone in to what makes you curious about yourself.
The feeling and the knowing, it's an absolute. Like I can watch something on Facebook, I can watch a video and go, wow, that is absolutely true. And unfortunately, in our world right now, everything is mainly focused on lies and deception and corruption everywhere you look. So I can watch something and somebody will say that's a conspiracy theory, and I can tell you it's not, because I can feel it in my body that it is not, and I know for a fact that it is not. So many different things that have popped up, so many different things. Like I said, if somebody lies to me, I can tell that they're lying in a second. I can feel it.
So then it becomes interesting. And I think this is what is going to happen. So many of us have many gifts.
Right.
What do you do with it is the question now, right?
Exactly.
And I think we have been hiding too much
Yes.
of our knowledge, of our gifts, talents, whatever you want to call it, of our understanding of ourselves, because that's our
Here.
way of life. This is really our purpose. And everyone is a little different. And I love that you use the word absolute. So for me, absolute is in my purpose too. For me, it's absolute beauty, right? To support people in seeing their beauty, but the absolute, right, the true beauty, or to see the same true beauty in others, or as well in our nature, in trees, or planet, etc., etc.
Sure.
So if you have the truth, be free enough to share that with you in ways, yeah, instead of just it's not this way. If there is the possibility to say it in a gentle way, in a nourishing way for another person, to support them in growing, then I believe if it's a good idea to share it maybe a little bit. And that will, the more you do, it's little trying. You don't have to do it, blah, 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 blah. All of you have been wrong. But in certain settings, start slowly to share and share more of what your awareness, what your perception is of existence and how you react. Because by doing that, you will open up even more of your understanding of yourself, and you'll fine tune yourself even more.
And I feel somewhat of a block in my throat, not always, but sometimes. And I believe it is because I am not able to say some of the things that I guess are true. People don't always want to hear it because they think, oh, that's not true. That's not true. And they want to believe the TV, and they want to believe everything that's happening around them because you were told by them, even though most is corruption and lies. And it's been very difficult for me. I've gotten better with it, but it's been very difficult. I opened myself up more, I would say, in 2019 at the end of the year. Around September 7th, I didn't know anything about energy at all. And all of a sudden, some videos started popping up on my Facebook that were about energy and how everybody has male energy and female energy. I had no idea. Nobody ever told me any of that. And I had to learn a bunch of this.
Mhm.
And I had to heal myself. And I've been healing myself ever since. Even in the past 2 months, I've healed myself so much. I'm absolutely amazed at how much I have progressed and moved myself forward in every aspect of my life, which has been fantastic. I am like a different person.
Oh,
My
that's
entire
wonderful to hear.
attitude has changed everything.
And your attitude.
I've always been a very strong person, very strong-willed, very strong. I am a Leo, so I am the lion. I am by far a very strong lioness. That is me for sure. And I used to roar a lot more. I don't really roar anymore. Although I do have the mane going on, but it's
Yeah,
messy.
so you probably will more now roar when it's needed,
Right.
and not maybe before you were seeking attention. So it feels you shifted from that you live more and more your knowing, and that is very normal. If we're seekers and are looking for information or teachers, right?
Right.
Then sometimes we get frustrated and we roar out of frustration, and that's what I sense what you did before. And so for your throat, which is interesting, because it is only when you speak it. How is it? Do you take things? How are you aware with others? So your nose. What's with your
Um,
nose?
right now I'm very allergenic. I do have the smell scent very strongly too
Mhm.
sometimes. Um, I told you about my grandmother like a month ago. And then, like a week after that, I woke up in my bed with all my kitties and laying there. And I usually lay in bed longer for 15 to 20 minutes and I meditate before I get out of bed. And that's how I start my day every day. And as I'm laying there, all I could smell was bacon. Well, I live alone. How the hell do I smell bacon? I don't have any windows open. Not making bacon. I'm laying in bed. And it was my dad wanting me to know that the smell never went away the entire day. From the time I woke up until the time I went to sleep, I smelled bacon the whole day because he wanted me to realize that he is always with me.
Oh, how beautiful.
I thought so too. But
So, um, so
but
the
I had to
sense
learn
of
that and figure it out. I had to figure it out. That's why. And I'm like, why the hell do I smell bacon all day? Well, then I realized, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's my dad. He's here. And he wanted me to realize that. So he's always with me. And I get it now, but I didn't at the time. So things happen. And all of a sudden I realize, oh my gosh, this happened when I was a kid. This happened when I was 16, whatever. And I can feel it in my body at that point too, but I didn't know what to do with it or why, or some of the strange things that were happening. And now when things happen, I have coincidences all the time, and there are no coincidences. You're a coincidence. You're not. Even a bunch of things you just said to me on this show, I say some of that stuff all the time. You said I want to be Speedy Gonzalez. I say that all the time to people. And I have a friend where my employees, two of my guys are working right now at my friend's restaurant outside. They're taking down some trees. They're cleaning up his yard for him. And he has a little picture that somebody painted, 3 of them actually, on the wall in the restaurant. One is Speedy Gonzalez, one is Slowpoke Rodriguez, and one is Rosarita. So
yeah, that's an old thing, Speedy Gonzalez. I barely see it anymore. It was when I was little. I'm now in my 50s.
You said that I was immediately I was like, oh my God.
That's no coincidence that we in a way design for experience to happen, to meet certain people when the timing is right. So it comes back to the timing. So now it's your time. Right, and you started earlier then, but as I said often, this is a time of 2020, 21, and 22 has been profitable for a long time. So many of us are here to I don't even like the word awakening, to hone in, to understand what we're bringing. And many of us, we have brought it as a child already. We've just became quiet. Especially, I can understand, Holly, when you were a truth, when you know the absolute truth already as a child, and you may have spoken it or said it out loud, the adults hushed you and said, "Oh my God," and you also became dangerous for adults because you spoke things no one else should hear,
Right.
and for them. And so then you closed in a little bit, and that's why you put like a little tightness. You just tightened yourself.
Right.
You left other
Absolutely.
things open, but because you tightened, and the tightening came like this. It's yeah. So your nose is free, and
Yeah.
you still like to speak, and you are speaking. You don't shy away from speaking. There's a speaking, but there has been like a closure from here, going down in deep. So this is what we're gonna let come out again, that you feel more expanded, because you sense so much with your body already. You are very close to nature all the time. You soak in, you get a lot of information. You have many cats, so the cats bring you a certain high vibration and an understanding of other star nations. That goes back later to your star language or light language you're interested in speaking.
Yeah.
But first, it is like you could rub your own hands on a regular basis, or take warm washcloths, or take a heating pad, or get a nice cream, or even when you wash your hair, get maybe a different kind of shampoo that is that envelops you on a regular basis. This is the energy is already changing now as we're speaking, right? And
I can feel it.
lifting off, yeah, but to keep you also reminded not to close in here and there, as you practicing to speak out when it's needed, the truth. And it may sometimes be a little rough for the person who hears it, but that is their opportunity to transform, to acknowledge it, to become aware of it. Otherwise, I believe they will not have been close in your proximity.
Right.
Yeah. So this is, and yeah, it's just that you start feeling yourself again. So you can even touch your it's not really the throat. Then you have no, it is more here, this, and it has pulled down over your ears. And so there's also the ringing, so that you can massage a little bit. And even for the, you can do some of this tapping around
Sure.
the ear. You can, I'm going to take my ear out, and you can turn the ear shell and tap from the back. You can tap and massage your ear, and you can pull the, where your earring is in, and you pull it
Sure.
up and down and around, and it will start loosening up on a regular basis. Go in and squeeze also in tight where the jaw sits. So you see, this is all connected,
Sure.
and gently do it. Sometimes you follow your own intuition and you will squeeze a little bit. Sometimes you will just put warmth and energy there. Sometimes you touch yourself. This is important to physically feel what has happened, so it does not become such an abstract anymore, or you dissolve this abstractness around it.
Sure.
And this will connect you again to more of who you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is sorry. I'm already doing a little healing. So even right here, take your two thumbs and squeeze a little bit. It's like there's also a directional change of the bones, and it's like, yeah, just squeeze and massage a little there, and put your energy and your thoughts to the tips of your thumb and what you sense and feel there. There we go. And then just pat it out slowly, gently. Yeah. And you'll feel it already in the back of your head, right here, that
I
it's
do right
loosening
now.
up. Yeah, it's
As you're
loosening up.
telling me things, I can feel it moving as you're directing it to move.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can feel it.
Yeah, so you notice, and feel free doing that. Even if you're outside, you can even do whatever you move with your body. Too often we don't do this, even though we feel it, but it relieves us. And this tightening and loosening and tightening and loosening, or that's why I talk sometimes about the squeeze and letting go, and then padding. And why this padding came is also for everyone else who's listening. You're very precious. You're a beautiful being. You're here. So take the time to feel what you're about.
Okay.
Yeah, normally we rub in really quick a cream because you have to put some cream on so your skin is not dry or you don't have wrinkles.
Sure.
But too seldom we notice and feel ourselves.
Okay.
And take the time to, oh, this is my hand. This is my skin. Oh, how does my skin feel like? And how does it feel now? And maybe in the evening it feels different. So get to know yourself better.
Sure.
This is a very gentle thing, but this is like your whole body goes into an exhale.
Sure.
And then
Sure.
the next inhale you take, the whole body, you can take a much longer draw in. You can draw in much more air, and so much more air goes into your head and into your body, and anything that is within you emanates out into the world.
Interesting. Okay. Yes.
And at the same time, as you take in then this draw, you will feel even more the trees, the earth, and because you have this beautiful sensing and smelling, that will develop even further, not just when just beings to make you recognize that they're there, yeah, which is beautiful, but that you can go into more communication, that you become aware of many other beings that are surround you, and the importance of the earth, the importance of that tree, the importance of that certain flower or shrub, perennial or even dried leaf you're conversing with. And yeah, it is an exchange, so you always can go into this gentle exchange. It's like this wave going in and out.
I actually, one of the first times that the woman that I am in a group with, her name is Allison Cotton, and she spoke some light language to me. And after she did that evening, I swear to God, that I have and a Palladian, I believe, of my own that hangs out with me all the time and is helping me develop.
Hmm.
And I honestly and truly believe this. And I can feel, I don't know what it is, but I feel their presence all the time. And it's almost always with me, especially in the evening when I'm in bed sleeping. I can feel their presence, and I can feel them doing different, I can hear them in my room. And he especially can hear them because he watches them.
Yeah,
So
and
he
that's a
see them.
really that I have to share you a story because the cat lover in you.
Yes.
So when I opened up more and more into a channeling, I'm a physical channel since I'm really, really young. I also speak, but also to get information in that I'm conversing with other beings and passing on information. So I've two cats. One I call more the shaman. He's here now, Puccini, in the room, more the shamanic. He comes for the physical healing. And then I had Judy, small little cat. She would be out in the field. I could see her from the window out in the field. And I would be on the phone with my friend and we were talking and maybe, whatever. And then just as a Star Nation channel would come through, that I physically would be, and then speak to my friend. She would be right at the door, at the window, right? She knew when these certain beings came, and I had my radio show for 6 years. So when there were the Star Nations coming with a certain kind of energy that needed to go out into the world, she would come into the room. She would scratch for hours, even if she was asleep. So that was always very, very interesting to see how connected our cats are with us. So how your cats are connected with us or with you.
Absolutely.
Cats bring us the fine tuning, and it is really interesting. So cats purr to heal, to bring frequencies over, yeah, certain energies. No one has ever been able to tell how do cats change their frequency to bring healing to us, right? Or to other cats or other animals. They can, right, take on and help others. So yes, we have the whole room of beings. So you have beings around you, I have beings with us, and even though we two are in communication, they are with each other. And because this is a podcast that goes out into the world, there's even communication with others that are going to listen or see or are energetically connected to this show and to the people within, right? So this is
Absolutely.
really interesting and to open up. And yes, cats and Palladians, they have anyway a strong connection. And one important thing, often, and I said, the light language we can translate or not translate. There is sometimes a wow effect if we use that. Or what I also like, we cannot put barriers, or people open up a little bit more if they're spoken than if you get information. So for you, it is two ways. Yes, you will be able to speak, but you already translate a lot of the energies that come through and the communication. And writing is also something that will come more and more for you, to write down your information instead so much of speaking.
Okay.
Or even into design and drawing. So because you're so tactile, into your tactileness, into your hands, and to move that out, there will come a lot of information that is not really so important for people, but it is important for nature.
Sure.
Yeah. So
That's
you
fantastic.
also carry that. So observe when you go into the woods, if you go into the meadows, how are you? What beings are with you? And start practicing this communication. And if you sense someone is close to you, ask them, say, hello, I'm Holly. How are you today? And ask them really questions, right? They come to collaborate. You are a very important light being as well. We're all light beings, otherwise we wouldn't be seen here in the
Right.
material world.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
go into that communication and
And question
practice
mark.
that word. So
Okay.
let's see. There is energy coming. Judy did pass away, but I sense her. I have to point to her. She's right there, and that's also where her grave is. So funny, your cat really got it. It's like, finally, she's concentrating and seeing that she can do it. Holly.
Got another one on the floor right here too.
Yeah. So you even go into communication with your cats, ask them and sense what information they provide to you. Feel comfortable and notice that you have been doing it all along, but you didn't give you the permission because your way of communicating is a little different than other people that are out there.
Okay.
Yeah, so you take in a lot of with your sensations, you sense it within your body, you smell it, you probably even smell when your cats smell different on certain days or what they went. So you really can hone into that and see what that information brings and write that down or paint it down and practice it and give it on to where it needs to go. So see even larger possibilities and opportunities where to implement, where to direct what you experience.
Okay.
As you also now will, because you're so curious, you're going to go out now into the world and try to understand more, but do not put yourself like, don't put other people on a pedestal and yourself not, or put yourself lower. We're all equal. We're one sound, we're one light. It just comes over differently. And you have such a desire to unfold more of who you are. It is going to come automatically and it will speed up. The time speeds up and it is as fast as you can digest. And you are really demanding strong and speed. So nourish yourself well.
Okay.
Take the rest you need. Look at your own rhythm that you have. When are you alert? When do those smells come up? Maybe, journal down when these things, like a little bit like a cataloging. That
Sure.
comes. Do things a little bit like cataloging your plants or cataloging or designing how information comes to you. This will, because you are developing a new, unique way, in a way that doesn't really exist. So you don't really have even teachers for this. It is for you to unfold more of what you bring. So you have beings all around you there for you. Welcome them in, party with them. You can celebrate, you can give them, I had a teacher, he was also a fantastic channel. He would give food, share his food even with all the beings that are around. And with his ancestors, he would even give fresh water or maybe, a wine, or the one of his beings he knew loved cigars when she was living. So once in a while he would smoke a cigar in favor or in celebrating and cherishing who she was or she is. Yeah.
Yes.
So you have that within you. So it is in a way like you put other costumes on for a moment. And so that's how you notice them. And then you recognize them and said, oh, and then you can see them like this or acknowledge them like that because you sense a space.
Absolutely.
You have so much. And the other, if it unfolds, beautiful, but it's not needed. If that maybe is the best how I could say it. The others are not needed. You already got so much. Go inward as you go outward,
Sure.
right?
Right.
To understand what you have.
I could feel I feel myself vibrating almost all the time. I've raised my vibration so high I can feel it a lot. And when people do, like you just, when you spoke the light language to me, I could feel like I awakened even more as you were
Thank
talking.
you.
Um, and I get that a lot from people speaking the light language or looking at their pictures, or like the guy that does all the paintings and stuff. I can I can feel a lot from looking at that.
Yeah, so for you, it really is all you are very comfortable. That will come more and more, but I think now it's understanding what is in the presence, what's surrounding, that you become aware of what is existing, that
Sure.
is already there, and they all will lead you in a way into more of the non-material world, and they're all teaching you. There's certain I think you were speaking about the gentleman who paints great murals of uh, uh, sacred geometry codes. And sacred geometry is really teaching a visual of teaching. But you also you do sacred geometry also in your landscape. So where do you use it? You can plant these with your plants, right?
I
So
never
take,
thought of that. That makes perfect sense. Okay. That's
yeah.
really interesting.
So sense in, so get your own. Go, you don't, maybe a little less time looking outward. Now it's time
Or
to look
inside.
inward. There's a reason why you're here right now.
Oh, absolutely. And this
Yeah,
was your idea, but this was the perfect time, obviously. So
back
the
to
perfect
time.
time presented itself.
Yes.
Um, and it was your idea, but it was the perfect time.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what I needed, apparently. So um I have a big list right here on my board that says what I need to work on design wise. And I've done one big one recently in the past week. I kind of have it up here. I haven't put it on paper yet, but you just gave me a different idea. um, but you're right. I need to apply some of that. And actually, my mom has a coloring book that I did not realize is a lot of different light language. I had no idea. It just dawned on me.
Yeah. So again, whatever we draw, whatever you design is light language.
Right.
Yeah, this is sometimes it comes still. Why do we always look at that? Because we put things on a pedestal. But we are as another any light being. We're just here now on this earth in this physical form.
Sure.
Yeah, so you have a lot to give to the world as well. So it's now to see as you apply, you recognize your own importance. You recognize how important it is to do your choices.
Yes.
It's recognized why are you there where you are now? Why are you living where you're living? There are reasons why, right? And these will unfold. So if you have a dice, anyone out, yeah, everyone who's listening, if you have something and you come your meditation or no meditation and you draw something out, in that moment, what you've materialized, you're putting what your thought, your intention, the information that you've created in the non-material, you bring it out into the material world. That's called, it's materialized. It exists. That moment you put that pen on paper, it's drawn, it exists. Then you will amplify it for you, Harley, right? A painter then puts maybe more color, but that is the energy they've brought to the world for the viewer. And for you, you put it with a plant. You choose certain plants that will support you. You put it into form, into the earth even, and there even you create something. So, that's for another time. But I sometimes go with the dragons. They're like super gardeners. They know how to garden. To connect to them, but you will notice more and more. So play if I would summarize what we've spoken today, Harley, play with yourself and with all what you have experienced it, and as you just said a moment ago, implement it.
I'm going to send you pictures of my dragons. I have dragons. That's serious. I have a
Okay.
dragon that's like this tall. It's a sculpture. It's really neat. and I'll send you a picture of it.
I love to. Thank you very much.
Because you'll like it. So that's another thing, another coincidence that you brought up dragons, because and my business, this is my logo.
Come a little closer, go backwards a little, lean in so everyone can see it. Oh, okay. That is the dandelion, and the one the enchanted gardens.
Yep.
Oh, but it's a girl in the dandelion. Wait, that's more like
a fairy.
Like a fairy. I was gonna say that it's not. It could be yeah, it's a mix, bringing everything together.
Yep, that's kind of the point. And orange is my favorite color, and my friend drew this for me. I had her design it, and I told her I wanted a fairy. She had a fairy sitting on a table next to where she massaged me, and I liked the wings on the fairy. I said, I want those wings on my fairy. And so she drew it like that, and she didn't know I was going to have an orange shirt, but she just started drawing with a blue pen, and I was going to use blue ink.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my company, is Holly's Enchanted Gardens.
Yeah, so again, everyone see how just follow your instinct, follow your intuition. There's a reason why we do things.
Yes.
And it is time now that we don't, what's the word? Question our own decisions. That we stop questioning our own decisions. And if you do, go find a few friends to converse. But at the end, it is really only you who can answer the questions. It's you who can act on it and not someone else. There's a reason why you got that thought. It is a reason why you spoke that word. It's why you have a certain animal in your house or live on a certain place of the world at this moment.
Right. Absolutely.
So Holly, thank you very, very much for being my guided guest, for bringing your beautiful energy onto the Moving to Oneness podcast, and your cats and the sunshine and landscape
so
of Wisconsin.
Yes.
And everyone,
so much for having me.
What? Sorry.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. And your face has changed a little bit. It became a little softer.
Okay.
Yeah. And so please do that.
Yeah. I'll do
And
some things after.
yeah, and cherish yourself. And for you, if the listener, if you want to be a guest, do write me at Meilin at movingtooneness.com to be on this show as a guest, guided guest. And everyone else, I wish you a wonderful weekend, a wonderful time, a wonderful year with whatever this spring starts for you on this day, this explosion that took place for you and for our world around us. Enjoy it, act on it, live it, and celebrate it. I'm Meilin, your host, and I wish you the best. Bye-bye.
Bye.